Recommended black belt board break option number 1. As a recommended black belt, you'll have 3 different sets of board breaks that you can choose from. Make sure to ask your instructor about all 3 of these options and pick the one that works best for your body type. Option number 1 for your recommended black belt board breaks. The first thing we're going to do is a back elbow strike. Remember, your back elbow strike can be paired with either a jump front kick or a flying jump side kick. For my back elbow, my partner is going to hold the board straight out, keeping the board horizontal. Parents, if you're holding for your child, make sure that you're holding at the edge of the board for maximum security. From here, I'm going to start my body parallel to the board, and then take my left foot and step up at just a little bit of an angle up to 45 degrees to make sure that I don't just hit the board, but that I travel through it. I'm going to hug my hands in with a strike on top, just like we do for our forearms, twisting back, turning my hips out so that I can unwind my body while releasing the hug, using my power pocket and my strike at the same time to hit the edge of the board. Altogether, your back elbow strike will look like that. One option that you can do with your back elbow strike as a red black belt is a jump front kick. Now remember, the jump front kick has to be as high as your nose. What that means is that the top of the board will be at my nose level. The bottom of the board may be a little bit lower, that is perfectly fine. The angle of the board that you choose will depend on the ability you have to pull your toes back. Again, the closer you have to flat, the easier the board will be to break. The closer you have to vertical, the harder it will be to break, but the less chance you have of hitting your toes. Typically, a 45-degree angle is a great place to start. Parents, if you're holding boards for your children, remember that the line of the board should be vertical, and you should hold the board anywhere between halfway to the bottom quarter of the board. From here, what I'm going to do, if I like to kick with my right leg, is measure my right leg up to where I'm kicking. Don't forget to bend your knee as you measure up. If you swing your leg as you measure, but then bend your leg as you kick, it will create different distance. So I'm taking my right leg, measuring up to the board, putting my feet together, and stepping back with the opposite foot. I'm going to take my back leg and drive through, lifting with the right leg to kick through my target. Remember, the goal is not to hit the board, but to penetrate through it. Altogether, the jump front kick will look like that. For this board break option for red black belts, you're going to be doing a flying jump side kick. Now remember, a flying jump side kick has to be over an obstacle. At your testing, you'll have a person bending over that you'll have to jump over. For today's demonstration purposes, we'll be using a riot shield to jump. Your partner is going to be holding the board with the line horizontal, making sure that it's parallel to the ground. This kick can be at any height, from your chest all the way up to above your head. It just depends on your personal preference. Parents, if you're holding for your children, remember to hold in the center of the board for maximum security. I want to make sure that there is at least one body length of space between the board and my obstacle. This will give me room to land as I'm kicking the board. Just like any other board break, we want to make sure that we hit the target and go through. What I'm going to do is start then and get a little bit of extra distance. Remember that as a student, you have the ability to decide how much space you need in order to clear your obstacle. This may just be 2 or 3 steps, or it may be 10 or 15. It's up to you, so make sure that you practice with your instructor, that way you're prepared for testing. One important thing to remember is that as you're jumping towards the board, that this is a flying jump kick, not that you just run to the board and stick your leg out. From here, I'm going to step back from my board break, making sure that I have enough distance to clear my obstacle, taking a couple steps too, tucking my back leg up, and kicking through the board for a flying jump side kick. The final board break that you can pick from for recommended black belt is a reverse side kick. Remember that this pairs with the round kick. For my reverse side kick, my partner is going to be holding the board at a level that's comfortable for me, anywhere from my waist all the way up to my shoulders. The board should be held horizontally, make sure the line is parallel to the floor. Parents, make sure you're holding in the middle for maximum stability. For distancing, I can measure up with my right leg, going past the board to make sure it goes through, and then putting in the back, similar to the way that you would measure for a round kick. However, I'm not hitting the side of the board. Instead, I'll turn over my right shoulder, spot my target as I lift my leg up, and kick with my right foot. Altogether, from the measure to the board break, the entire thing will look like that. For the round kick section of this board break, you're going to start parallel to the board. Now, if my chest is facing the same way that the board is being held, when I kick, my kick will finish in front of the board. As we want to go through the board, I want to add a little bit of angle. So what I'm going to do is step up by 45 degrees to ensure that I'm kicking through the board. Parents, if you're holding the board for your students, remember to hold in the middle for maximum security and keep your horizontal board line, not vertical, but again, horizontal, going flat towards the floor. I'm going to take my bottom foot and using the trajectory from point A to point B, I want to twist my hips and pivot. Remember not to keep your body crunched in. As I pivot my foot, my leg will come up, chamber, and kick the board. Going fast, everything together will look like that for your round kick board break.